Hello, my name is Ravi Reddy. I'm here from SuneraTech. Thank you for opening up your homes for me as we kick off this year's virtual Digital Acceleration Summit. I'm super excited to be the opening session speaker. You know, last DAS we had about 400 attendees. This DAS we have over 2,000. It only shows the amount of interest peaking for digital initiatives. So today's topic is about disrupt or get disrupted. And as you all know, we are in a digital era, which is soon replacing information age. In the digital era, where data is the fuel, AI is the electricity, and IoT is the nervous system with over 1 million devices connected. You know, experts predict that 40% of companies will not exist in a meaningful way in 20 years. Maybe sooner, given the global pandemic has accelerated the digital disruptions, it could be sooner. So can we avoid disruption? Can you ride the digital era successfully? I think you can. Riding the digital era successfully means you are able to future ready your business through successful digital transformations and understanding that future is no more about time. It's about mind. It's about mindset. What we call future ready mindset that recognizes that imagination leads to innovation and not knowledge. Let's look at how imagination leads to innovation. Eye to eye. Because imagination leads to creativity and creativity blossoms thinking. Thinking provides knowledge. Knowledge leads to innovation. And innovations leads to disruptions. Let's look at some of the businesses where imagination was lost over a period of time and slowly lost its meaning. It happened for Motorola over 70 years. It took 70 years for Motorola to disappear and 30 years for Nokia and BlackBerry to disappear. And as you can see, we are already seeing Airbnbs and OYOs are displacing hospitality. We are seeing Netflix displacing cable TV. Teslas of the world are redefining an industry, redefining transportation as a service. So we don't know where the new players are coming, where they're coming from, and what we don't know, how quickly they will change the game. So let's understand why the game is so uncertain and why we don't know where disruption is coming from. There are three drivers behind that. Number one is rapid reduction in hardware and software cost for innovation. People around the world are able to start a startup with $5,000. They swipe the credit card for $5,000 and they are able to subscribe to the amount of hardware and software required. And that cost is exponentially going down. With the rapid reduction in transistors cost, what used to cost $1,000 today costs less than 5 cents over last decade. The second driver, an important one, I believe, is if you have paid attention to, you'd notice that innovation has been democratized. What I mean by democratized is for over 100 years, innovation was led by manufacturers. They used to listen to the voice of the customer with methods of conventional market research and drive innovation. You may imagine that, it took about 100 years for electricity to, go from businesses to homes around the world. It took over 100 years. It took over 50 years for computers to become, to get into homes. It's no more the case. And fundamentally is because lead user innovates today. It's the user-led innovation, not producer-led innovation. Because the cost of innovation has significantly reduced. So today you have millions of new innovators taking birth every day around the world. And not only they are innovating, now they have democratization of the channels through which they can take their innovation to commercialize them. You didn't want 100 sales guys for WhatsApp to be sold or Instagram should be sold. Today, innovations finds its places in marketplaces, the freemium model, the digital channels, new digital channels. So with new channels, with user-led innovation at lowest possible cost, you now have exponential uncertainty around innovation because you don't know where the new idea is coming to disrupt you. So businesses and individuals in the digital era have only two choices: disrupt or get disrupted. But before I get there, I want to ask you a question. How many of you are in a square peg business? And most people are, because that's how you make money. More pegs, more hoses, better, faster, cheaper. That's how you beat competition and win in the marketplace. And the square peg business is defined by the fancy terms like strategic DNA, core competencies, continuous improvement, process optimization. While these businesses are highly profitable, when your square peg business hits round hole world, all that it means is you're going to get better and better at things people care less and less about. So what do you do about it? It's really a tough problem. And that's why businesses fail. Not because all smart and ambitious people become stupid and lazy. It's because their square peg business hits a round hole world. And their business model lost relevance. It can happen to anybody, not just silly people. No one is immune. No business model is birthright. And we have to decide what we are going to do about it. So based on our experience, of working with over 200 enterprises globally, across continents, working with small and large enterprises across various industries, including manufacturing, CPG, retail, telecom, banking, all trying to do varied level of digital initiatives. Having listened to them, having observed them, we've put together 10 rules for digital disruptors, which are applicable to both businesses and individuals, whoever want to be relevant in the digital era and be the disruptor. So rule number one, adapting to changing world. It's about being able to adapt quickly. Large businesses can easily end up so stuck in their ways. We talked about it in the square peg businesses. They find it difficult to make the necessary changes. Let's take an anti-example. Sony invested greatly in making devices such as Walkman and Discman to play music on cassettes and CDs. This helped them become the market leader. And then MP3 and digital music happened. Sony could have moved into this new and potential lucrative market. But if this digital music really took off, what could happen to all the Walkmans and Discmans? They'd be outdated. They wouldn't sell. So Sony saw the move to digital as a very risky act of self-disruption. As a result, the company was hesitant to move into the new market. And it lost its way. It lost its leading position to more disruptive rivals. Rule number two, be bold versus being bolt on. Don't just try to put a lipstick on your business model. Too many businesses are only willing to make small gestures towards embracing new digital technologies, which we called a bolt on approach. You've seen all banks do the same. They're just, innovations they call digital innovation. Some of them are called digital innovations, as taking your mobile app and scanning a check and depositing it is a digital innovation. While at the same time, there are 75% of 18 to 25-year-old are saying, I'm going to be 100% on internet only bank. Look at what's the shift, that's mega shift happening in the entire banking industry and what banks are trying to do. Rule number three, embrace uncertainty. If there's one thing for certain, it's that the future is uncertain. No one can truly be certain of what lies ahead. We can look to the past and learn a lot about what to expect in the years ahead. As we mentioned, electricity was invented in the 1830s. It was about 1930s or so when it saw its full potential for businesses and homes. So embrace uncertainty. See beyond the outer layer. To start your own disruption, you must look beyond the outer layers of your business. You have to do more than bolt on of some new technologies and offer cheap prices. Because the disruptors like Uber and Airbnb really do it. What they really do is completely rethink the way of doing things. They shift the paradigm and fundamentally change how people do things in order to fully disrupt an industry. Outer layers of the business include how you communicate with your customers, your marketing efforts, what your products or services is, how your business functions. Think beyond those outer layers. Take an example. If Take the rental car company Hertz, for an example. It's made it possible for you to send a recorded video of your customer complaint rather than having to fill a form, online form. It's using technology as a tool while remaining committed to its traditional car rental business plan. If Hertz were to really embrace the digital age, it would have changed that core business plan to resemble something similar to how the rental car company Zipcar operates, and make the entire process app-based, keyless. Right? Zipcar doesn't have a key for your cars. You go in there, you give a soft key, and the car can be anywhere in the city. They fundamentally disrupted. Number 5, don't get boxed in. Don't get boxed in by assumed parameters. Uber and Airbnb removed the assumed parameters, and you all know that. Earlier, companies had to own physical assets like cars and rooms. And when your idea finds a solution that changes those parameters, you may be on your way to shifting the paradigm and causing real disruption. So don't get boxed in. Rule number 6, disrupt yourself. Self-disruption means investing in technology or ways of doing things that would, if successful, make your current process obsolete. This is also referred to as cannibalism. When Netflix pulled off a remarkable act of self-disruption when it shifted its focus from DVD rental to streaming in 2007, it actually put the entire DVD rental business into a completely new business, and it called it, I think, Quickster. Market immediately tanked Netflix stock from $40 to $10. Today, Netflix is busy disrupting production and cable industry. Rule number 7, continuous improvement. Continuous improvement is what made Facebook, which was originally meant to reconnect with an old friend, to being the most powerful media company in the world today. And that's purely because of continuous improvements. Rule number 8, making measured bets, both measured and hedged. Measured bet is what BMW did. They made a measured bet in coming up with an electric vehicle without disrupting the current with a completely new business. And various businesses do these measured bets. They may not be the main source of profit, but develops the new technology. How many measured bets are you making? And there are many more companies like Google's, Dell, Cisco, Intel, DuPont's. All these companies make hedge bets where they invest in an adjacent industries, other businesses that are developing cutting-edge ideas that could be beneficial for them. So making measured and hedged bets. So what's rule number 9? See 2 steps down. When smartphones emerged, the real innovative minds look to the further implications of this technology, like how are apps going to work, how are emojis going to work, and all the different secondary business opportunities that the smartphone would unleash. That's what folks who can see 2 steps down did. And when you bring all this together and you drive empathy and design thinking, you're making innovation happen. That's rule number 10, right? Empathy is knowing what people want and how to make it simpler. goes hand in glove with design thinking, which basically is, overcome disappointments, digital disappointments, by knowing the difference, fundamental difference between, buying and shopping, focusing on people, not on technology. When Uber says, or when Amazon thinks that I want to make sure shopping is not a memorable experience, it's unthinkable. Shopping should not be a memorable experience in the new digital era. It should be so intuitive, a single click buy. When you do Uber, hundreds of times we've traveled by booking car rental, uh, taxi on Uber, and how many of those you remember? So that's the design thinking, is making experience unmemorable. So look at these 10 rules if you want to be the digital disruptors as you think. These are the components of what I call future state mindsets: adapting to the changing world, be bold, embrace uncertain, be comfortable with uncertainty, see beyond the outer layer, just don't get boxed in, and disrupt yourself. Bring continuous improvement to your idea, making measured bets and hedged bets. See beyond, right? See two steps down and bring everything together with empathy and design thinking. And you will not go wrong. I hope this was useful. We have some fantastic presentations coming up after this presentation. Once again, I would like to thank each one of you who's taken time to listen to this talk. Wish you guys all the best. Stay safe, and let's go be the disruptors. Thank you very much.